Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Operation Evil. We are actually patching this in to a recorded episode we did. The title of this one is we're on episode 60, which is awesome. And it is Spooky Stories featuring Billy from the Game Chasers. Rachel, you're here with me. Doesn't it feel weird just patching in an intro without it all being like the same night? Do you have anything you'd want to say? Because you are the one that got Billy on the show for us. And wait till you hear his stories. He's an amazing storyteller.
Oh my God, he's the coolest guy. Billy he's like all about retro and nostalgia. He has his own YouTube channel. It's called The Game Chasers. And he does it with a couple of his friends. And they just got to thrift stores and things like that. And they hunt for retro games, some newer games, but mostly retro and retro systems. They also do toys, so like retro toys. He is about the same age as Nyoka and I, so he was like born in the late 70s. So he was like an 80s kid, like Nyoka and I. And he's just a really great guy. And I don't really care for games, but I absolutely love watching their YouTube channel because the way that they do their shows, it's like an actual show, but they do it kind of like based off American Pickers, but only in video game form.
I think that's awesome. And we will put the links in the show notes for you guys to check them out.
Now, there's not that many toy chasers as there is game chasers, but like if you go to their YouTube, it's all by seasons. Like I don't even remember how many seasons they have right now. And Billy is like a perfectionist. You can like go to season blah 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 and watch like all episodes, and he works his butt off with the editing and things like that. And they actually just put out a movie too. It's not out to the public yet, but it's a really good movie and it's really sentimental because he was really close with his grandparents, and they're really go check out their YouTube.
Yeah, it's really awesome. We always love having a guest, and he was a great one to have. So,
and we plan to have him on again.
Yes. Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and proceed into the episode that we recorded. And we won't have our normal ending either. We're just going to end with his stories, and it'd be good. It'd be good. It's a little different, but I think you guys will enjoy it very much. And if you have any suggestions, I mean, we're in spooky season, so this is the mood. This is the vibe we're putting out. And he had some great stories. If you have some great stories and you want to tell them, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook or email, whatever. We'd love to have you.
So, yeah, write in an email, and either like you can like record yourself, send it to us. We'll play your voice, or
we can read it. Yeah. I think that would be really fun. I mean, it's just that it's our month. It's my month. It's my happy month. Mine. All right. So here we go. Billy from Game Chasers.
How long have you been watching? Like, just out of curiosity.
I don't even know. Like, because I don't even really like games, but I started game hunting for my husband because of you guys. Maybe 3 or 4 years only. Music's more my thing.
That's not so. Why do you watch the show?
Because of you and Jay. I love you guys.
She really does.
Okay. Your all's friendship. I love the friendship, and
yeah.
I mean, you guys just seem like you're just awesome people.
I do my best. We do our best. So no, that's really cool. Usually with the people that like the show, they're really into the games and stuff. So it's kind of cool to get a different perspective like that. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess there are some people out there that don't think that we're complete jerks. I like that.
No, not at all. Nyoka's heard a lot about you.
I have.
I told her how you're into the aliens and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
That's what I was also saying about the show, because I know you do true crime stuff. Which is horrifying. But I I don't know much about that, and I don't know exactly even know where to go to do
That's kind of
research on
not
that.
your thing, right? Like true crime.
Yeah, I've unsolved mysteries, things like that. I always used to listen to those and watch those back in the day, and they were really super fun. But it was always the paranormal stories I kind of gravitated towards, and those being the ones I was really interested in. I don't know. There's something about the paranormal that kind of gives me goosebumps. I like
Have
it a
you
whole
had an
lot.
experience? Maybe.
Well, see, and then that's the thing. I figured that was what we could talk about.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
Okay. Because I have several.
So tell us your paranormal, like a paranormal experience.
Oh wait, I forgot I wanted to tell him something.
Oh yeah.
I'm
You
so
tell me
sorry.
something.
She's so excited. She's
No,
looking at me like,
it's
hold
perfectly-
on. Hold on.
No, it's perfectly fine.
I feel freaking 12, I swear. So Gary wanted me to tell you. You probably remember his name. He said to tell you that he loves you.
Oh my God.
That's my husband.
That is
He's so salty
flattering.
jealous.
That is
He's
flattering. It's extremely flattering. Is he jealous? Is he sitting in the next room,
No.
just bickering? Just
That bitch is at work.
oh, okay, okay.
And then my brother-in-law.
I like how you phrased that. I was like, all right.
My brother-in-law, his name is Brett, and he is salty jealous as well because Brett is the one that told us about you guys. So
Oh, yeah?
they're both jealous as hell.
Oh wow.
I
Wow.
love this.
Whereabouts have they ever had the opportunity to come out to a convention or anything like that?
No, we have tried to go for the past 2 years.
Where are you from?
Kentucky.
Okay,
We're
so I
really
think
close to Cincinnati.
Southeast Game Exchange shouldn't be that too far from you. Greenville, South Carolina.
It's probably drivable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fly, but one of these days we're going to drive to Texas to go to one.
All right, so my question is, do you guys have paranormal stories?
I've had a paranormal experience. I've had several, but it started like at age 5. Yeah, they still happen.
See, I got my little ambience going right now, so I
Yeah.
have like spooky music going on in my headphones. I have
Love that.
a
Ooh.
thunderstorm, ambient thunderstorm kind of going on. And you know something? I was out at the store today and I saw candles. I was going to get a candle and put it here because candles put me in the mood.
Yes. Candles are good.
That could really be taken the wrong way. To tell candles put me in the mood
That's
to
what
tell
she said.
spooky to tell spooky stories. But
My first experience, I was coloring. I was sitting on the floor coloring. My mom's doing dishes, and I saw a man's face in the window, and it almost looked like glowy. That was my first, but it didn't scare me enough. I just kept coloring, like whatever.
What?
But yeah, I don't know. I just saw this dude's face, like it was a normal thing. But the house I lived in before this one was probably the creepiest one. I had the most, I don't know, crazy experiences. But that one, I heard a kid giggling upstairs when there were no little kids in my house. So that was kind of weird. And then one
What
day,
is it? What is it about the kids that are so creepy? Like
I
those
don't know, but
kids?
it is. I mean, this little kid, it sounded like a toddler laughing. And I don't know. And then there was one time I was in the shower and I heard like an aggressive knocking on the bathroom door. And I'm mad because I'm like, what? Because my boyfriend was there, but he was downstairs. I'm upstairs showering. And I was mad because I'm like, why is he bothering me? He knows I'm in the shower and I'm yelling at him, pounding on the door again and again. Finally, I'm just like, I get out and I open the door and there's nothing there. So then I finish up and I go downstairs and I start yelling at him. And I'm like, what is your problem? Why did you knock on the door over and over again? And I finally get out to answer and you're not there. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I did hear something too. And I thought maybe somebody was at the front door and no one was there.
Oh,
So at least he heard it too.
but it sounded like it was.
But
coming
it was
from a different
like-
area, right?
It was like pounding on the door, like aggressive.
Ooh,
It was freaky.
that's like demonic and shit.
But
I would not like that. I would
No.
not like that.
that house
I-
is like that.
Yeah. I would immediately thought myself, I would have thought that there was a hobo that got loose in the house.
Right? And you
I
feel
would've been- I
crazy.
would've been-
when stuff like that happens. But then when any friends spent time with me there, they would have experiences too, which kind of validated it. Like,
See,
oh,
that's
okay, so it's not just me.
that's a big thing is like when people can validate it for you and somebody may not even know what's going on. They go and they have a situation occur. That
yeah.
tells me that's like, okay, it's not just me. It's not my mind playing tricks on me. It's there's something going on and it's really weird.
It was almost like there was a family in that house because I heard the kid and I felt like the person banging on the door was a man. And then I would hear a woman whisper in my ear when I was vacuuming.
Oh, so like it makes you wonder, like, did one of the parents kill the whole family or something?
I don't know. I mean, I looked into the house itself and I didn't come across anything like that. It just had that energy.
Well, what was the woman whispering into your ear saying?
I couldn't make it out enough to know what she was
like,
saying. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It was like that. It was crazy. And then you would think that you would see a woman walk by out of like the corner of your eye kind of thing. That house was always something. And it seemed like anybody that lived there ended up divorced. I was
like a cursed house.
That's what it felt like. It's just
Cursed
bad
house.
Energy.
Yeah, funny enough, that's actually it's I think what's the issue with one of my stories. I've had a lot of paranormal stuff happen. But what about you, Rachel? Have you actually had any paranormal stuff happen?
I haven't really. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
One time when I was a child, I saw an eyeball through a keyhole. And then one time we had 3 deaths within 1 year. And I thought one of the people was Gary's best friend. And I thought he was at the end of the hall. But I think that was like my mind playing tricks on me. But no, I've never really
an
seen
eyeball through a keyhole. Were you living in a Victorian home?
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing, like a skeleton keyhole, you know? Like,
what I'm sorry, was this 1882?
yeah.
The house is really old. So there was a door. It was like 2 bedrooms and then there was a door in between. And then it had like an actual keyhole.
Like for like a skeleton key? Fun.
Like the house is like well over 100 years old. It's probably like 200-300. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually what I was picturing though. So there you go.
So did you feel somebody watching you and then you looked in?
I mean, it could have been
like, how did that happen?
It could have been my stupid brother looking through the peek hole to scare me. You know what I mean? He was a shit. So it could have been him.
I'm going to pretend it wasn't though. And we're going to go with it was a ghost.
Explains everything.
Yeah.
So you said, were you in the bathroom when this was happening?
No,
Where was it?
It was a bedroom.
Oh, bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was a bathroom.
Maybe you may have just been a pervert on the loose, like just got into the house.
He would have had a shimmy. Oh my God, it's so funny that you say that because that's one of my that was always one of my worst fears for somebody to sneak into the house, and like kill me at night.
There's a lot of movies based around that.
Yeah, it can happen.
But they would have to like shimmy up a lot, like it was a 2-story house and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's a rational fear though.
Yeah,
it's not like me, like where I'm afraid sometimes if I walk in front of the bed, like an arm's gonna come out from under the bed, like.
Don't back up to the bed.
I jump onto the bed a lot of times. Even now, like I can't take any chances. I mean, I don't know that there's not something down there.
Don't sleep with your feet out of the covers.
No, I never do that. What are you crazy?
That's an instant monster grab.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just asking for it at that point. You might as well put a little tag on your foot that says "Eat me."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love spooky season.
Oh yeah.
That's what
we start. It starts feeling like that around here. I would say about I don't know, November 7th because that's when the air actually gets cooler.
So it's still hot there.
Oh, we got to like 98 degrees or something today.
Huh. It's been unusually cool here.
Yeah, it has.
I envy you. Damn. No, but it'll probably be. Usually in October, it's still in the high 80s, you know, so
I think
it's hard to get into the. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's just kind of hard to get into the spirit sometimes when you're sweating when you go outside.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I remember there was one Halloween here that it was warm, but most of the time it's raining here.
It rains every
Mhm.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I
So
love the
we're
rain. Though.
freezing.
I love that.
You like the rain?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. Like the sound of it, the vibe, everything. I literally have rain loop playing right now in my headsets. I'm listening to rain, a thunderstorm. Like it's soothing to me, de-stresses me, and I work to it often.
That's
And when
sick.
it's raining outside for real, I will open the window. I'm like, I could probably jail well in Seattle. Doesn't it rain there a lot?
Oh my God, it's so funny you say that because Gary jokes all the time about wanting to live in Seattle, and the rain gives me anxiety.
You don't like the rain,
Mm-mm.
so you're the opposite of
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I don't mind sleeping to it or like chilling at the house. I don't want to be out in it though.
Yeah. If I have to drive in it, no, I
Yeah.
don't like that.
But it's
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
snow.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but I definitely could stand more rain. We get so little of it around here. Maybe that has something to do with it, especially this
Maybe.
year.
So I guess, Billy, if you want to tell us your stories.
All right.
Give me
So-
nightmares.
No, actually, one of them's kind
Give
of
me
sweet.
an anxiety attack, please. I haven't had one in a while.
It's been 2 hours.
You haven't had an anxiety attack in a while.
Sorry.
Well, let's see if we can change that.
Yes.
My stories aren't that great. I don't want to build it up too much, but they are personal stories. They're just a lot of them are more weird than anything. Like what the hell? There's one that's kind of effed up, but it's not too bad. But let me just get into it. So my stories, they do range from the extremely just strange, like what the hell is going on, to kind of a Swedish story, a nice little story, but paranormal nonetheless. And then maybe one little, two little scary ones.
Hold my hand when he gets to the scary one.
I'm going to do
holding
the
your hand
scary
now.
ones first. I'm going to do the scary ones first.
Yes.
We'll do that.
Scary.
So we'll do the scary ones first, and then I want to end on the kind of somewhat sweet one. But so the scary ones first. It all stems from my grandmother's house, the one we actually grew up playing Nintendo in. We would always hang out on Friday night. I was lucky enough to have my grandmother in the same neighborhood as me. In fact, I could literally ride my bike from my house to their house in a minute. They were that close, just a couple streets over. And so I was always there. So I never had the NES or Super Nintendo at my house, but we did have it at their house. And I think it was their way of kind of still getting the grandkids to come over and hang out. It was like that was their way, right?
Yeah.
And it worked because we were there all the time. But it was always like a Friday night event where me, my cousin, we would hang out there, then go home on Saturday. And so this was one of those nights, and my grandparents had that home for probably at this point, maybe like 25 years, I guess. And I've heard the stories. My dad, my uncle, when they were growing up, very strange things happened there. Like in the big 80s shag carpet.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're my generation. But that shag carpet, one time my uncle was looking down and he could see footprints forming.
Oh my God.
That is awesome.
Now, would this be Chris's father?
It would actually.
Okay.
Yes. My dad was in, it all kind of seemed to stem from this one particular bedroom, funny enough, in the house. Not all of it. It seeped into other places in the house, but it really seemed like that bedroom was kind of like almost like the epicenter for whatever reason. And this was a very small house. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 1,000 square feet, if that.
Like a 3-4 bedroom house, maybe?
Three bedroom, but we're talking bedrooms that are like 9 feet by 9 feet. I mean, like it's really small. And so it may have been like that epicenter was in that bedroom, where that small bedroom was like pretty much kind of like in the middle of the house. But yeah, it just feels like everything's just kind of right. So I don't know what the hell happened in that bedroom, but I don't know. I don't want to know. My grandmother still actually lives there in that house. She's still around. Um, but one particular night, so that stuff, was things happening to my father and Chris's dad while they were growing up. One other thing that actually happened to my father, because he was staying in that bedroom, that was his bedroom, and he was just laying in bed. It was late at night, and he's got cassettes going, listening to music, and apparently he just got this just out of nowhere, this strange feeling like something's in the room with him. Like, just started freaking him out. And so he threw the headphones down, got up, started to run to the door, and the door slammed on its own. And he felt like something grabbed his hand, like his forearm, like that, like grabbed a hold of it, reached it. And he was like, I'm out. So he goes to open the door, and luckily it opens, but there was no way it could have just slammed on its own just for no reason as he's running towards it. But anyway, yeah, he opened it up, shot it out the room, and man, I don't know. I don't think I would ever stay in that room again. So I don't know how he got the balls to go back in there, but he did.
What an experience.
Yeah.
But that was, and there's been other things, but I don't know if I really should kind of tell the stories because I barely remember them. One, it happened to Chris, and he could definitely tell it better, but it was something like, there was a point when he was having some personal troubles and needed a place to stay. This was in his 20s. So he stayed with her and would sleep on the couch. And apparently one night when he was sleeping there, there was like everything in the room started going crazy and like things moving on their own.
Like poltergeist stuff?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Not to the point where it was like things shooting off shelves, but like he said that like the clock, the hands on the clock just started kind of moving on their own back and forth. And then like other things in the room were like starting to like shake and all this other stuff. And we don't get earthquakes. So
can't explain that.
And that's the thing, it's sometimes when I hear like people try to explain some of this away, the explanations for what they're giving are more unrealistic than just saying it was a ghost.
I agree.
It's ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
Now you can't always go in assuming you can err on this, the opposite side. And it's just as bad by saying, oh yeah, it definitely has to be paranormal. There can't be any other explanation. I don't know. To me, it's once you rule out all rational explanations, then that's when you can kind of say, okay, with reasonable doubt, I say this absolutely has to be something like paranormal. I mean, what else could it be?
Yeah. I mean, some things are just unexplainable.
They are, but even so, I'm never like hell bent on any particular, footing on, oh, this has to be paranormal, because I always leave that open, that door, the possibility. It could be wrong, it could be something else, and I think that's healthy on both sides. It's like you always have to leave having an open mind. I think everybody, and I don't want to go too much on a tangent, but I think everybody needs to have a switch in their mind that they can click and say, there is a possibility that I could be wrong, because we're all wrong about a lot of things a lot of times. And so sometimes people get so hell-bent and set in their ways. It's like, I can't really turn that off anyway. But those were two of or three-ish of the main stories that like happened in that. I know there were other things, but my grandmother she had the stories, and I remember her on the phone actually talking like kind of somewhat about something that had happened, something really freaky. And I wanted to hear more. When she got off the phone, I'm like, hey, what happened? She's like, no, she's like, I'm not telling you. No, I'm not going to be responsible for you having nightmares. But there was some really weird stuff going on. And I know, just for them not wanting to expose me to it and be freaked out to stay over, they kept a lot of that from me. I know that they did. So those are just the stories that I know. And But yeah, I know there was one other time that I could think of. It's just like a vague memory that they had a piece of paper, and like apparently one of our relatives was like into witchcraft or something,
Oh,
and and then my grandmother was like, that's demonic. That's I'm not even going to open this letter. I'm just going to burn it. And because the letter was from it was like an invitation from this witchcraft relative or whatever. I don't, like I said, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember this the best I can. It was something like that. But anyway, they took it, they threw it into the sink, and they set it on fire. And I don't know. I seriously doubt this. I just want to tell the story anyway. They say that once the ashes kind of like, not the ashes, but you know what burned paper is, where it's kind of like black and crispy.
Yeah.
And once that formed, it formed into a skull.
I love it.
That's crazy.
I love that.
Do you believe in Ouija boards?
I believe in enough to stay away from them.
I think anything's possible.
I'm not going to mess with something that I don't know what the consequences are going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Even if there's a
agree.
1% chance that it's right, then like what good can come from it? Like I'm just going to bring something evil down upon me. So let's not do that.
I'm the idiot that would try it just to see if it would happen. Because
You're-
I have.
You're so like spiritual though. Like I don't know. Your mind just wanders.
Hey,
that way.
you know what? You
Yeah.
may be perfectly fine with a demon named Henry that likes to
That's
hang out with
true.
you. You may be
That's
perfectly
true.
fine with that, but you know, to each their own. I say.
You
I
get
see.
so used to like paranormal experiences, and then when it doesn't happen for a long time, you're like, huh, that's where I'm at. Huh.
I tell you what, the paranormal experiences that I'll get to later, or that are like kind of like what the fuck are also annoying as shit, and I'm going to be really pissed off if it doesn't stop. I'll just leave it at that for now. Just because it's driving me insane.
So I'm guessing it's at your house.
Well, I mean, I would say mostly. That's why I've taken note of it. But now that you mentioned this, you literally just brought up a point in my mind. Well, now I'm thinking like, I wonder if anything else that's happened like really stupid could be attributed to that. I'd have to think on that.
Oh,
But
I'm
every
really curious
occurrence that I can recall of this happening has been at home. But that might be only because that's when I am taking a mental note of it.
Well, you're
don't know,
constantly bringing in vintage things, getting them for wherever it could be.
God, I've heard
I mean,
that
if
before.
you think about it, energies are attached to some items sometimes.
I've heard that before, and now you're creeping me out because
He even has vintage toys.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
just
do.
saying.
I have, like it could be anything. Like it could be like
could.
a cassette or
Oh
a tape
shit!
recorder.
You better
or
get rid of your
VCR.
old gremlins.
Oh my God! Yeah, I should. They may be cursed. Let me guess. I could send them to you,
Send them to Nyoga.
Sound me.
Nyoga. Gotcha.
I'll take it.
I no. Funny enough, I feel like there's literally been items that we've come across at the flea market, and I'm like, all the other guys are like, it's better, and I'm looking at that. I'm not getting that. That's cursed. I swear that's cursed. Look at
Yeah.
its eyes. You know it's cursed. This will be haunting me, and I know it will. Why would I do that? Why would I bring that up on myself?
Mm-hmm.
Like a creepy ass doll or a matted like stuffed animal.
Yeah. Raggedy Ann dolls freak me out for some reason.
I wonder
Is
why.
that what Annabelle is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like
Annabelle's
that.
Raggedy Ann.
I think it's like, yeah.
Originally, she was a
Yeah.
Raggedy Ann doll.
Mhm.
I've never seen that movie.
That's crazy.
I've just
that
always
you
been
say
freaked out
that.
about Raggedy Ann.
Yeah.
When we shot the movie, there was a I don't know. Have you actually seen the movie yet?
I've seen it.
So the house, where we go to the basement.
Yeah.
So that house, when we were scouting it, we were literally out just game chasing. We were recording for the show and going to garage sales. Well, one of the random garage sales that we went just happened to be that house. And so we were just rummaging through their wares, and the lady was there, and we were like, so we're looking for a house for a movie. Can that be your house? And she was like, oh yeah. Our house has been on television shows and movies before. Like, there's literally a movie from the 80s that house is in.
Oh, it looks like a spooky ass house. It really does.
But you didn't know that when you asked her?
No idea.
But you were drawn to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yes.
That's wow.
And there's even like
crazy.
There's even like a little plaque that says this is a historical, like once you get to the doorstep and look on the next to the door, there's a plaque on it that says this is a historical. I had no idea. But I literally looked at that house and I said to myself, this is perfect. This is because if you go to the Rachel, I don't know if you've ever been to like the Indiegogo, whatever, you see the conceptual drawings that I did. One of the conceptual drawings of like this creepy house was done a year before we found that house. So I'd made those drawings.
It looked like the same house.
That house
same
was calling
style.
to you.
Same style.
Oh my God.
That house was calling to him.
It definitely was.
And she's like, yeah, sure, you can make a movie here. No problem. Not the first time. Who does that?
Billy found it.
It just, I don't know. Maybe you're right. But it ended up being perfect. Like it was literally like I looked at the house. It said this house. Like there was no reason to even consider another house at that point. It was the only way we were not going to shoot here is if she said no. That was it.
You manifested that.
It was literally perfect. And even the inside was exactly how I envisioned it. We didn't even have to. Like I wish I could convey it. Like I wish I could convey how close it was in my mind to what we saw when we actually found the house like a year afterwards. It was uncanny.
It just makes it even sweeter because you wanted this movie so bad.
Yeah, I did. I very much did. So, but anyway, I didn't know. Maybe I had an extra paranormal story. Went off into a tangent there, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say paranormal, but maybe diving on the side of like the more spiritual sort of esoteric,
right?
Viewpoint of things. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. I think it's some validity to some of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Anyway, what were we talking about? Ghost houses. Okay, cool. So ghost house. And I say ghost, but who knows what the hell it really is, really. It could be some kind of science that we don't understand,
Yeah.
Like a white misty cloud.
Yeah, if you take what we understand with our science right now and take it 1,000 years ago, people would think that you were magic and like paranormal, didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're talking about like something like crossing dimensions or echoes and like energy or something. I don't know. It's just really strange. I just know that I'm very open to it. But when we, when the grandkids came along, we started hanging out in that house. We started having experiences too. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but so you picture a living room. Okay. And there is a kitchen that's almost attached at like, so the kitchen would be like the living room would be the southeast corner of the square, the living room, and then the kitchen would be like the northwest. So it's kind of like diagonal in a way, but in the middle of that picture, like a hallway that goes to the side. And so you have to get up from the living room, go to the kitchen, and you kind of cross the threshold of this hallway.
Oh, so okay.
Right. So sister is up in the kitchen and I'm in the living room, probably playing Nintendo. And I go, you know what? Some pizza rolls might be nice right about now. But I got up, I walked towards the kitchen, and there's a point once you're standing in front of the hallway, and you turn that corner into the kitchen, the person in the kitchen can see to the hallway. So it's like in their field of view.
Okay.
And so that's where my sister is, and she's actually molding dough to make a bread or something, or cookies, probably cookies. And as I'm walking past the hallway, literally 2 floating hands come out and reach for me.
No way.
I swear. They look like white Mickey gloves, but not like cartoonish.
That's amazing.
Oh, did you like back away or?
No, I didn't back away. I ran like a fucking madman. I got the hell out of there. I broke my Achilles running so quickly at that point.
God. Did you scream?
I screamed like a girl, like my sister. My sister was envious. She's like, I wish I could scream like that. Damn.
I gotta know, does your grandparents acknowledge weird things happening there?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it probably does. My
Absolutely.
grandma's house was like that too. It started
It's
off
always old.
as like
It's always those old houses. It's
yeah,
those old
it
houses.
started off as like a little cabin and then more rooms were built on and built
Yeah.
on and then people had experiences there all the time. But it's crazy is that I'm always dreaming of my grandma's old house. It doesn't even exist anymore. It's been tore down, whatever, but it's always in my dreams and it's always sad and it's always creepy at the same time.
Yikes.
It's all the time. So I get it.
All right, man. Luckily, I don't have reoccurring dreams. I think that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But yeah, so the house was just very, very freaky because I would see things like floating white gloves
Right?
poking out of hallways trying to get me. And my sister, because when I walked in, she looked up because got her attention, and I just saw when I turned and started running because my momentum was keep I was walking towards the kitchen already. So when I start to burst into like a sprint, it's going to be from that point going towards the kitchen still. And so I'm at this point, I'm screaming, running towards her. But as I'm doing that, I'm seeing the look on her face, and she just got this horrified look on her face because she saw the same thing.
She saw it too.
Mm-hmm.
Which validates it and makes you feel less crazy.
Uh-huh.
Told my grandmother, and because obviously she's going to want to know why 2 kids are just peed their pants, but
Right.
she it was one of those things where it's like you could tell, like, she wasn't surprised by it or anything.
She's like, oh, honey,
Yeah.
that happens all the time.
Yep,
Don't be
that
scared.
happens all
Don't
the time.
be scared. It's fine.
White floaty gloves. Now here's the real kicker, and this is actually a recent development. So there is a podcast that I really, really love listening to called sorry, I'm not trying to plug another podcast on your podcast.
No, I need more to listen to, so tell me.
Mysterious Universe.
I have not
It
listened
is
to that one.
amazing. 2 Australian dudes talking about paranormal stories, and
Oh, they're
it's
Australian.
it's really fun. It's really fun because they'll take a story that's like you've never heard of before, and they'll talk about it. So no, I really like that. But they were talking about a segment that they were doing was reports of floating hands. And I had never, and this was maybe like a month ago, and I had never heard anybody ever tell that story before, like talk like it was a thing. And here they are all of a sudden, and they're recounting all these stories from people who said, yeah, I saw floating hands. And one of them was exactly how I saw it. White floating, like white gloves. Like,
Wow.
I just, it floored me. I could not believe that. I'm like, are you serious?
Did you write to the podcast and tell them your story?
No. I mean, maybe I should have, but I guess at that point, yeah, that might be a good thing to do. But it really kind of just blew my mind because here I am listening to people. I've gone, what was it? It was probably 35 years ago, 35 years ago. And I've never heard anything like that before. And then all of a sudden I'm listening to these stories of things that relate to it. And one that is exactly how I experienced it, where white gloves were just floating like
You're blowing my mind. Like the whole house thing, and then you find that house, and then you have this experience, and then out of hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, you happen to listen to one that talks about the same experience that you had.
That is yeah, those little weird coincidences and stuff always happen to me. I'm not sure. What's really strange is I have this thing, and it's really starting to come on in like the last couple of years, but is the damnedest thing. I could be listening to like a podcast or the radio or even hear somebody talk. And so you're hearing the words. And as soon as they say a particular word, and it can be like a little random thing, I'm looking at something at that particular moment that has that exact word on it.
I believe it.
Weird.
Okay, it is. I swear it's the strangest thing. And I'm not talking about stuff. I'm not talking about like words like and the. and your and pronouns and all this stuff. I'm talking like specific words, like a name, like Steve, or
That's so funny.
or Pepsi. Or, there's literally been times where like there's a billboard that says Pepsi, and I just happen to look up at it literally at the exact moment. I'm not talking about like I'm staring at the billboard for a couple seconds and then like somebody just happens to mumble the word that's related to it. I'm talking like it's like a split second to where I'm looking at that word and immediately you hear the word on the radio, Pepsi, as I'm looking at it.
That's so weird.
I swear to you, this happens almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence. There's just no way. There's no way. You are tapping into something.
Almost on a daily basis. And there was a point where I decided like I need to get a journal and like record each one.
Yeah.
Because I'm not joking when I say this happens every day. And it pisses me off because it was a few months ago, and it pisses me off because I'm not remembering it, and I wanted to write it down because it had to have been like 1 in a billion chance. So I don't remember the specifics other than it was 3 at the same time. It was 3 at the same time. I was in the car, the radio was going, there was a person talking to me at the same time, and I looked up at a billboard, and it was the same word instantaneously 3 times in a row. 3 times. And it was something like believe, but not. I know I'm not gonna. It wasn't the word believe because that makes it sound like it was a sign. Like the sign is to believe. It wasn't that. It wasn't something that was like, oh, this is a sign. It was just something so just random and believe. Yeah, there you go. I used that word because it was like but I shouldn't have used that word because, like I said, it wasn't
but
like
it's
it was
weird that you said that too because I was thinking like maybe something's trying to tell you to do your podcast because weren't you or the round table that you guys talked about doing?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Oh, we're still definitely doing that. I'm sure at some point, yes, paranormal stuff will come up. Yeah, mm-hmm.
I just thought about that, so maybe it's like. You need to
I don't know. I wish I knew, but like I said, that one with 3 was just imagine it was like the word computer, but then like you look up at a billboard that says we sell computer, and then somebody's saying computer, and it comes on the radio 3 simultaneously, and I was just blown out of my mind, and it pisses me off that I didn't write it down what it was, but I still made a mental note that like it had happened 3 times, and it just you can't tell me that's a coincidence.
No. Do you dream things that happen?
All the time. All the time.
I feel his vibe. I do.
Yeah, because she does that too.
Picking it up.
I do. And the thing is, it's like when I do dream something that ends up coming true, it's never specifics. Like it's generalities, but it's still close enough to where it's like, okay, that has to be it. Like that has to be the. So the one of the main ones that I remember is I was working at this the movie studios at Las Colinas. So CBS shoots a lot of like shows. They shot Prison Break out of there. I think even like Barney and Wishbone shot out of there too. But I was working there, and there was a production house right here to where we were allowed to park. When all the big wigs come in, they get all this parking stuff. And if you're parked in one of those parking spots, you get towed. Well, nobody cared because the big wigs hadn't been there for like years. So nobody gave a damn. Everyone parked there, and the person in charge, he didn't care. He was like, whatever, I'm not going to call the tow truck. So this was never an issue. There was never anything I even had to think about. I just parked kind of like in the same spot, and everybody did, and it was fine. Been doing it for years. So it's not like one of those things where it's like constantly on my mind of it being an issue. It never was. It was so out of my consciousness. There's no way it could have been that. But that night I had a dream that my car was parked on a car parking garage. And it was at the very top of the parking garage, and it falls off, it's gone. Like it's gone at that point. And I'm like, okay, what was that? Well, whatever. Anyway, next day my car gets towed. So we have parking issue. It's parked up there, and then we have it gone, towed away. And I never have dreams about my car, right? But then, like literally the day before, I have a dream, and then something happens to my car.
Right.
But that was not it happened a couple more times after that. I'd have a dream about my car, and then like the next day there would be like something go wrong with it, right? And so I don't know what it was specifically about that would cause those, but yeah, and I'm very bad at keeping records, and when I do things like that, when I'm actually recalling it, because most of this stuff I never really talk about, it's just kind of like in there in my brain, and I remember them from time to time whenever they just for whatever reason pop into my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been one to write things down, and times like these when I'm actually recalling them with people, it just drives me crazy because I wish I had written a lot of this stuff down, because I could just go down this list of all these different things that
Maybe
like,
you should start.
I can explain that.
Or maybe
I
like
should.
a
I
quick
should.
voice memo or something on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I always have dreams that come true beyond it being a coincidence, which is scary because sometimes you'll have a bad dream and then you're sitting there the whole day thinking, I really hope this doesn't happen. There was something that happened. I dreamt something the other day. What was it? Oh my God, it happened the other day.
And I feel like these dreams, they feel different than your gibberish ones.
Yes, they do. You're absolutely right. They feel different, especially and for me, it's like the early morning, early, or excuse me, like early morning to me is like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. I'll wake up and it's like you wake up from it and you remember it because it's like right there in your consciousness.
Yes.
But those are the ones. Yeah, they absolutely feel different.
Have you had dreams like that before?
The only thing that I could relate that to is I was struggling with my papa when he died, because Naoka knows he was more like a father to me. I'm fatherless. Like that's the only father figure I had.
Yeah.
And he, I was really struggling with it. And he came to me in a dream, and then I was better after that. That would be the only thing that I could.
Those dreams are nice too.
I think you're gonna get a kick out of my last story. I could already tell. You're gonna really enjoy the vibe of that one. So I actually thought of one while I was out getting my refreshments.
Oh yes.
So this was actually the first one that happened when I realized that, hey, that's strange. I can see things that's gonna happen. Do you guys? I don't know how national this was, but remember the David Koresh Waco Branch Davidians? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Happened about an hour and a half for me.
I never realized it was that close to you.
Yeah, Waco. But so you got to understand, like I'm like 11, 10, 12, something like that. But I have no idea what this is, what these people are. No concept. Nobody had heard about these people until like that siege happened live and it was being shown on TV. That I think it was like a Saturday morning or something.
Like on NBC or whatever.
Right. But it was live and it was in the morning. They were live casting the whole thing. Nobody knew what the hell that was beforehand. However, I dreamt that the night before. I literally had
freaking way.
I dreamt about the same color building. And it's kind of like, it wasn't like specific, but it's like kind of like how my dreams are. It's like there's so many close details that it's no way that's a coincidence. Like, so I just remember like people going into a building with kind of like that same brick, the same look to it, the same style. I remember like people shooting each other, like soldiers shooting each other. And it had something to do with like the Bible. I just remember the cross and like the Bible and all this other stuff. And I wake up on that morning, go into either it was, I don't remember if it was like summer and I didn't have school or it was a Saturday, but I woke up and went to the living room and there's my dad watching it live on TV. And I just sat on the couch. And I'm like, what is this? And I don't remember what he said, but I'm just in there watching it. And I'm like, I literally just had a dream about everything that happened. And I'm seeing, it's like I'm watching my dream again.
Did you ever say anything to your dad at the time?
I don't remember if I did or not. And then one day I was in that house. Grandmother was mowing. Why the hell I wasn't mowing, I don't know. I was napping. That other thing about this story really makes me sound like an asshole.
my old grandma was mowing. I was watching her eating popcorn.
I was like 13 or 14, I guess, 12. I don't know. It was somewhere around there. Now that I think about it, holy damn. What the hell was I doing napping on the couch and my grandmother was mowing?
You were playing Nintendo. It's fine.
I wasn't even doing that. I was just napping. I was like, that's the worst of it. Like, if grandmother was mowing and I was inside, like, doing my homework or taxes or
taxes,
cleaning, doing something. But then, that's fine. Okay, at least we're both accomplishing something. But I was asleep.
Maybe you were sick?
No, because I remember when I got up, I went straight the fuck home.
Maybe you had a late night of gaming or something.
Maybe grandma just wanted to cut the grass.
Maybe she did. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't want to steal Gran of her joys in life. So I'll let her cut the grass. I was napping on the couch. There was nobody else in there. I guess grandfather was working, being productive too. And but my grandmother was out mowing the lawn. And I am laying on the couch alone, napping, and I get woken up by breathing in my face. And not just any breathing. The ghost couldn't just be like breathing normally. No, can't have that. No, it's got to be like evil demonic breathing. And I wake up, I shoot up, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
That sounds awful.
Right in my ear, too. Like right in my ear, because I was sleeping on my side. It was right in my ear. I don't remember if I felt hot breath or not, but I certainly heard the demonic voices of something.
Did it say your name?
No. All I remember is breathing. Just breathing.
Crazy.
Like, I don't know what the hell he was doing over me. Like, I don't want to know.
Billy Chili.
Billy Chili, no.
I don't know.
Cut the grass. Good.
I don't know. I don't. That's what it was doing. It was chastising me. What the hell is wrong with you? You out there letting your grandmother cut the grass, and you're sitting here like a lazy teenage bum.
I want to make sure he gets up.
Why I oughta. And then he proceeds to breathe in my ear.
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
We could have done anything else, but he decides to breathe in my ear. Whatever. Hey, it worked. I got the hell out of there. I didn't help Gran grass. I didn't help Gran grass mow the grass. I literally said, "Hey, like, I'm going home. Bye. You deal with this. You deal with this shit." I'm not. And I walked up my grandmother, and I'm like, "Enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfucking ghosts in this motherfucking house." And I took off. I left.
That's great.
That's the last I ever heard of Gran.
You needed the ghost getters back then.
I needed the ghost getters, the ghost breakers, the ghost busters, and anything else that doesn't break trademark infringement. So anyway, yeah, haunted house. I'm sure there's some stories and stuff that I'm probably forgetting, leaving out, but
that's just another reason to have you back on.
Oh, there
exactly.
you go. There you go. I'm sure I can think of some more stuff. I just need to start remembering when I remember them and write them down. Okay. So anyway, that's the kind of like the scary part. Then we'll move on to the second part, which
that's right. The suite
is no. Suite's the third part. You're in for a long night.
Oh, okay.
So I have this weird thing. I have this extremely weird thing in my house where things disappear for no reason whatsoever. And on the flip side of that, weird things will end up in places that they shouldn't be for no reason whatsoever. And it's not the kid. This was happening before the kid was even born, and even like before he could walk. So it's unexplainable. So anyway, one of the stories that happened, we wake up one morning. I believe the wife turned on the oven to preheat the oven to make something, and all of a sudden we hear smoke. Like, what the hell is that smoke coming from? Well, turned on the oven. It's got to be the oven. Open up the oven. There's a bag of charcoal in it. Now I had
What?
there's a bag of charcoal in the oven. Now I had just bought charcoal at the store, and I had brought it home. And I did with that bag of charcoal that I do every time I buy a bag of charcoal. I put it right there on the floor next to the door. So the next time I go out to the grill, bring the charcoal to the grill, and that's where I keep it. And apparently, sometime between then and that morning, it ended up into the oven. Now, I can assure both of you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that I would not take a bag of charcoal and stick it in the oven.
No.
No.
I could also assure you that my wife would not take a bag of charcoal and stick it in the oven.
Yeah,
So
no.
that begs the question, who took the bag of charcoal and stuck it in the oven? Well, if it wasn't the two adults that were at the house at that time,
Yeah.
then what the hell does that leave?
That's interesting.
And then how can you explain that? Unless one of us is a sleepwalker, but we have no history of being a sleepwalker.
Yeah, and I mean, other things would have happened too.
I don't know. I've always heard that like ghosts like to move things around on people for fun. I don't
That's
know.
exactly what's going on here. Because there's no explanation for this. And look, if there was one, that's a weird ass example. But even if it was just one example, maybe you could take the position of like, well, it was just some weird thing. It doesn't mean anything. You just probably were in like some kind of like stupor and threw it in the oven. Like, it's ridiculous. And like, no, I wouldn't. Like, would you do that? Would you take a bag of charcoal? Like, think of your tiredest days, like where you're just the most dazed and out of it. Would you ever take a bag of charcoal and throw it into the oven?
Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense to put it like in a cabinet or even the fridge.
So that was very strange. But anyway, even if you took that as like one like example and then just try to explain it off, this happens all the time. You know, it's not just one. And at that point, you can't say that there's not something weird going on. It's just impossible. Like, there was a diet soda. We still don't even know where the hell the diet soda came from, because no one in this house drinks diet soda, and we rarely ever have anybody over. But a thing of diet soda just ended up in like the pantry with like the cups and the dishes for no reason. None of us would have done that. It doesn't make any sense. And we still don't even know where this Diet Coke came from, because none of us have Diet Coke.
You either have a ghost or somebody living in your walls.
Somebody living, like, there's a hobo in the attic.
Right.
But that was a couple of things that happened. And then like one time with the bedroom window was open. None of us would open the bedroom window. We never, since living here, have ever opened a bedroom window. We just don't do it. And we walk into the bedroom one evening and the window is open. And there's no way it could have been somebody from the outside, because there's a screen on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. But somehow that thing, besides the thing's locked anyway, we keep it locked anyway. There's no way it could have been somebody from the outside. But none of us actually opened the window. So it's like, how do you explain that, right? Like, how do you do it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But it's little things like that just always happen. And there's two other big ones, and this is still pissing me off to this day. Which was, I was there earlier, I was telling you, it's like, it's better to stop, because it's seriously irritating me. So we just got a new garage door opener, because ours went out. So I was issued a new garage door opener. So for those of you listening, they may not have a garage door opener, and just think of it as like it's like about the size of an old pager, I guess. And you just, the big button on it, you click it, it opens up your garage. But this thing it's not small. It's probably about half the size of a wallet. It's not something you can easily, a bit bulky. It's not something you can easily like lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you drop it, you're not going to lose it in the grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the first day I had it. So I have it on my little visor, and I leave, click, close it, I drive off, blah, 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 come back home. It's there up on my visor. I open the garage with the door opener that's on my visor. I take it off. Garage is open. I put this thing in my pocket, because I don't actually like having it in my truck overnight, because all somebody has to do is smash the window, and they have access to the house at that point, because they can just get the garage door opener. So I always take it off and put it into my pocket. Every time I've ever had even the old garage door open. It's exactly what I did every time. I stuck it in my pocket, got out of the truck, got my keys, my wallet, and everything else, grabbed them, put them in my pocket, or my other pocket. And so I'm parked in the driveway, and the walk from the door of my truck to where I'm into the garage and just past the door so I can close it. And you know how the garage door is going to not close down on me and then pop back up. So I'm behind it. So the garage door can actually close. The distance between that car door and that where I'm standing is probably at the most 8 to 9 feet, so it's not long, obviously. So I just decided that the way that I was going to close the garage door at this point was just reach into my pocket, click the garage door opener and close it. So I could just be done with it and just walk into the house. Well, I'll reach into my pocket. There's no garage door opener.
What the hell?
I'm like, okay, well, that's strange. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Let me, but at that point I wasn't thinking anything was evil or anything was going on. It was, it must have just fallen out of my pocket.
Did you have Janes on?
Janes? I did have Janes on. But I looked on the ground, and it's pavement. It's pavement on the ground. It's not grass. It's not tall grass. It's pavement. And I checked the ground from every point of me walking from the base of the garage to the front of the door. It is not there. And it's pavement again. It's not grass. If you can't see that on pavement, you're blind.
And you would have heard it fall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my next logical, so it's obviously didn't fall out of my pocket. It's obviously not on the ground. Well, I swear I put it in my pocket, but maybe it just fell out of my pocket as I was getting out and landed in the in between the seats or something, in the truck. I searched for 15 minutes, no garage door opener. It is not there. It is not in my truck. It is not on the ground. This was probably 5 months ago, and it is not. It's still gone.
It's still gone?
I would be pissed too.
It is gone. It has been missing for 5 months.
It's probably in the oven.
From somehow over 5 months, that thing has been missing for me, just taking it from the visor, putting it in my pocket, and walking 8 feet to the garage.
I feel like you're going to find it in a crazy spot.
Yeah, definitely.
It probably, and this next story is probably going to validate that. But it's just absolutely ridiculous, makes no sense, and drives me crazy because I don't have any holes in my driveway for that thing to fall into. So where did it go? But here's the best one, even better than that in my opinion. So this happened, I would say 6-7 months ago, about 8:00 at night. My wife she uses these AirPods for her iPhone, and what are they called? I just said it. I can't even freaking name. AirPods. Yeah, these AirPods. To charge them, you put them into a case, and that case keeps them charged. So it was near the end of the day. She takes them out. She puts them in the case, closes the case, and puts it right there on her desk. And her desk is right next to the kitchen. So she puts them down. They're right there. She goes to wash her hands in the kitchen. I mean, she was there for maybe 5-10 minutes, just doing something. She goes back. She's going to grab her AirPods, I guess, to go plug them in, and they're not there anymore. They're gone.
Because those are so expensive too. I would be really pissed.
Yes.
Things messing with it and stuff.
Right. Right. And mind you, this is just me and her there. The kid is there, but actually this wasn't it was about, maybe it's a year ago. Maybe it's a year and a half. But the kids grow so fast, it's so hard for me to. But this was a point where he was. We have a gate, so he can only stay in the living room.
Yeah.
So he was in there in that gate. So there's no way he could have gotten to her desk because that would have gone past the gate that he can't get past. And so that ruled out him as a possibility. So it's literally just me or her. Well, I'm not going to do. Why the hell would I grab her AirPods? I have no
Mhm.
reason to do that. And I didn't do it. So she asked me, "It's like, where's there? I don't know. I put them right here." And I'm like, I don't know I don't know. Like, no, I didn't grab them. So they're gone. They're
They're
gone.
still gone.
Well, they're gone for like 3 weeks, to the point where it's like, she literally bought new ones.
Oh,
It's like, how do you lose something to the point when you're putting it on the desk and it's gone? Like, something can't just, if something just like falls and like falls behind something or whatever, you're gonna look there, and you're going to, after several weeks of something that expensive, you're going to exhausted every possible search that you could have ever done, because those things are expensive. Now, let me just tell you that where she put those, there's no place for it to fall behind. It's sitting right there on a desk. There's no, if this gets kicked somehow or moved somehow, it's going to slide and like fall behind something. There's not anything there for that to happen. This is literally like if you just put something right on the table and then you turn around and it's gone. There's no crevices. There's nothing. And let me tell you, if like something had happened and like maybe somebody elbowed it, they got shoved underneath a piece of paper or something. Well, I assure you, over the course of 3 weeks, that piece of paper would have been overturned and that thing would have been found. Because this is her desk we're talking. She's there every day. These things were gone. One day, well, not one day, about 3 weeks later, after she had gotten new ones, mind you, I go out to the backyard. I'm going to like, yeah, today is a great day. I think I'll grill some burgers. That sounds really good. That's what I'll do. And I go out there with my burgers. I open the grill, and laying right there on the grill was those fucking AirPods.
It's something about that grill.
I bet that
Right?
I bet that door opener is somewhere that has to do with.
I gotta go check the grill. But I'm telling you that those were there, and I'm like, oh, those are her AirPods. Wasn't she missing those? And I go check them out. Hey, I got your AirPods. Hey, wait a minute, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense, man. That doesn't make any sense. I go, why did you put these out on the grill? What are you, crazy? Are you insane? What's wrong with you? Why would I put them out on the grill? And then it's like, yeah, well, why would she put them out on the grill? Why would she set them down on her desk and then like go put them out on the grill? That is, first of all, she didn't even go into the backyard that night. She never goes back there. She never goes back there. There was no reason. I didn't do it. Like, why the fuck would I take her AirPods and put them on the grill? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Was it like on the grill, like when you lift the lid?
No, it was on the little
like this
thing
little
where you put the plates.
Yeah.
You need to check that for the garage door opener.
I need to just tear the thing apart. It might be like in the propane.
It might be.
Wouldn't that be freaky?
Yeah.
If that happens, you definitely need to move.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain like that kind of weird stuff. And there's been other things too. Like I was actually in the garage. I was shooting some video, and I have the batteries for the camera are these big bulky batteries. They're not like double A's or something. There's these big bulky batteries, probably about the half the size of your standard cell phone, big and thick and heavy. And I have one sitting, and I'm a dumbass, granted, but where I was working, the recycling bin was right there, and it was just so convenient for me to just take the battery and just kind of like plop it up there on the recycling edge of the lid while I was working. Well, of course the thing falls into the recycling, because why wouldn't it?
Right.
So recycling is obviously not like trash. Trash is, full of the most disgusting, icky, gross, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's easy for things to get lost in there. But this is recycling. It's just basically pieces of cardboard and plastic, and very, very extremely easy to sift through. Very light stuff. I turned the thing out for 30 minutes, and that battery is still missing.
Oh my gosh.
I can't stress enough how there's no way that if that battery was in that recycling bin, I wouldn't have found it. That's like a $40 battery.
Is your recycling bin like a tote that has no lid?
No, it has a lid, but the lid was open. But I said it like as it was open, like right there on the edge.
Yeah.
But it fell in, like I moved thing, and it like I saw it fall in, and I heard like like hitting stuff on the way down.
Oh my
Like it was in the
gosh.
bin. I this is how much less this is how much of not a mess it was. I was actually took the recycling, picked it up, turned it upside down, dumped it all out on the garage floor because it wasn't a huge mess. It was just like a few pieces of cardboard and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the only thing in my mind was like, man, as soon as I find this battery, I'm going to be so pissed off because I went to clean up all this mess. That was the only thing. Like there was literally no doubt that I wasn't going to find the battery because of course I'm going to. Like I'm just sifting through a few pieces of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard
No.
it hit. You
And
saw
I heard
it go
It's
in.
gone. It's gone. Well, not only that, if it had not gone in there, it would have just landed on the floor in the surrounding areas of the recycling bin, and it wasn't there either. All right. So anyway, that's my creepy possessed house that likes to hide things. I don't know why, but that's what happens.
Fun times.
And you've been
Not-
there for some years too, right?
I don't know when it started. Again, I should have taken notes, but I don't. It's one of those things you don't really think about until afterwards. And you're like, I wish I would have kept better records of all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to end on a happier note. How about that?
Yes.
Yes.
A happier note, because I'm really angry after losing my garage door opener. That's not cool.
Not
Yeah.
cool at all. Especially when it's
Mm-mm.
brand new too.
Exactly. So this story actually takes place when I was a youngster, maybe 9-10 years old. So at this time, we had a, I guess it would be a great grandmother of mine, my mother's grandmother, and she was in the hospital. Currently, I don't know what she had. I don't remember, but I do know she was dying. She was on her deathbed. She only had a few days to live at the most. So my mom was actually with her family, just going and visiting her at the hospital that particular night. This night that this happened. So again, like it was expected that she would die, but nobody knew if it was going to be like now or a few days. But it was imminent, and so my mom had actually gone. I guess my dad had stayed. He needed to work in the garage, and my dad would work on model airplanes. And this was late at night, maybe 8-9 o'clock, probably a summer night, because I'm up late too when I'm in the garage with him, helping him with model airplanes and doing everything like a 9-year-old boy, 10-year-old boy would, hang out with his father and do, kind of be into the same thing. So he would be building these airplanes and I'd be right there next to him building these airplanes. And this garage that we did all this stuff in, it was a very, how do I say this? Chemically, was the aura, I would say, in the garage, because this thing was filled with paint and glue, epoxy, Bondo, those sort of things that you use to build build these models with. So you would, the smell would all be just that. Think just paint, lacquer, especially like lacquer paint. That very strong smell of like thinner and acetone, that I'm sure you're familiar with. That very, very strong. Like that's just, it's used so much. It's essentially has seeped into the walls, into the wood of the bench, into the ceiling. It's just permanently in that garage. When you walk in there, you immediately smell the things like lacquer thinner, paint, all that stuff. It would be extremely difficult to overpower those smells in that garage.
It makes me think of like when you walk into a nail salon.
Yeah, and
That
you smell
smell.
those
Mhm.
chemicals.
I've never done that, but I'm I lie. I'm in every week. I lie. I'm there every week. I gotta get my nails did. I gotta get my nails did.
Yep.
So it definitely has a very, very strong odor to it. My dad just we were sitting there working, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we start to smell the sweet, sweet smell of roses. Roses. Very distinct. Knew exactly what it was as soon as we smelled it.
Mhm.
My dad actually looks over at me. He goes, do you smell that? And I'm like, yeah, I smell roses. And he's like, I smell roses as well. We both smelled roses. Now, there's nobody in our neighborhood who has roses. Neighbors don't have roses. We certainly don't have roses. There's no roses around us. But yet here we are smelling roses over the smell of lacquer thinner and paint.
Yeah, that would be pretty darn strong.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's like, where's the source coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would cause that? It would be as if somebody had just sprayed heavy perfume in the air right in front of your face. It just kind of hits you out of nowhere. But yet you know where that just came from. It came from the lady at the department store that just sprayed that in your face. It's an obvious source. But here we are smelling something just as powerful and yet still wondering where it could have possibly come from, because there's no paint or no glue or no anything in the garage that would have created that smell. That it's extremely strange. It's extremely strange. But to top it off,
get like excited.
we get a phone call a few minutes later saying that grandmother had just died.
Did she happen to wear perfume that smelled like that?
That is a very, very good question. And I don't know the answer to it. Because I was still a little too young to really know. I didn't know her that well. I remember seeing her like a couple of times. She was just a great grandmother, kind of lived maybe a little further away.
Yeah.
So we didn't go out there that much. So
That was definitely her.
Yeah, had to be.
Yeah.
I don't have many memories of her. The strongest memory I have of her is one other one, and then this one right now. Because this is, and you think about it, you really think about it, like as you get older, you start remembering less and less and less about your childhood.
Yeah.
You start remembering less. And you think about all the moments and all the days that you've had as the years go, how much more you're experiencing. And you see all those moments. And then it's like, what happens in some of those moments that make them stand out, that you actually remember them out of all the other moments, right?
Right.
Somehow my brain remembered that. And that just kind of tells me how like important that was and how impactful it was. And what happened that night was not just some weird coincidence or some stupid, like, I don't even know how to begin to put a quote unquote rational explanation onto that. Somebody was sitting here saying, oh, rational explanation. They'd be saying things like, well, obviously some little girl just randomly came in where you weren't looking and sprayed perfume and then ran out. That's the kind of thing that they would say. And as I was saying earlier, like sometimes the explanations that they give are just so much more ridiculous than, me saying over here it's something unexplainable.
Yeah, like really with roses, to get a strong smell like that, you would have to have a lot of roses.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, I've gone roses shopping before, and sometimes you can't even smell them unless you put your nose right on them.
Right.
Like, how many roses would you need to have a smell to where it's like the roses aren't even anywhere near you, yet you're still smelling them that strongly?
Mm-hmm. Well, and when we were that age, that was a big smell, like those powders and stuff.
Yeah. Like
the scented powders, roses. Maybe she wore that powder or something.
Right.
That's it. No, you bring up a good question. That's not something I really thought about. I wish I knew the answer to that. I wish I remembered her a little more, that I could probably maybe answer that a little bit better, but it stands to reason that maybe my brain is just remembering it as roses. Maybe it could have just been a sweet smell, flower smell, but it was definitely like a flowery smell.
Yeah.
But maybe over the years my mind's kind of like, just assumed it was roses, but it was definitely like a flowery smell. And we both smelled it. I remember the look on my dad's face as he's looking at me, and we both kind of, because it can both kind of, hit us at the same time. He's like,
that's amazing.
Because I'm smelling it, but I'm like, meh, whatever.
Right.
And then like my dad was the one that really started to kind of like point out like that's strange. And then because I'm a kid, I'm an idiot. It took me a while. I was like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, we don't have any flowers around here.
Right.
There's no flowers. Where's it? What's smelling? What's smelling? And then I just had like this envision. What's funny is I actually do remember like what I was picturing at the time when this was going on, and in my head I was picturing like some little girl like with a basket just like throwing out flowers. Like I'm like that was what was going through my brain. I'm like, could that been it?
Oh my gosh.
Like a little girl, like a flower girl.
Yeah, like a flower girl at a wedding. That's what I definitely remember my brain. My brain was like kind of picturing that.
You're a good
But-
storyteller, just so you know.
Oh, I just wish I had more stories, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm kind of boring.
No.
You
But,
can't be boring. You can't be boring because people watch you.
People boreder than I am. Bored enough to think that I'm not boring. There we go. But anyway, yeah, that's my paranormal stories.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
One time when I was a kid, like the weirdest thing, like I just now, I don't know why, but this one just popped up in my head. I gotta tell it. My uncle was over at our house, and I was just like a little dipshit. I was like maybe like 6 or 7 years old, and I was still playing like hide and seek. I was tagging let's play hide and seek, and he was like, all right, So he was kind of playing around with me, and I went and I hid behind the couch, and this is exactly kind of how I was talking about a minute ago, where it's like all these moments that stick in your head. Like, why do you remember them above anything else? And it's like, this is how I know that this moment, like, actually it was something more than just, it meant something. There was some significance to it, because why else would I remember it?
Right.
So I'm sitting there behind the couch, and it was the weirdest thing. I just got flushed with like different feelings and emotions, and like it just hit me for no reason in the middle of just playing hide and seek. I'm not thinking about anything else or watching TV that's giving me some impression. I'm literally just in the middle of playing hide and seek, and as I'm hiding, I get this feeling that like I'm not me, like I'm somebody else.
Weird. Have you had that feeling
No.
after that?
No.
Hmm.
No.
So, like, is someone stepped inside your body kind of feeling?
I don't know, because I don't know what that would feel like, but wouldn't that be weird? Like, if you actually, like, think about it, like, if you're experiencing the feelings of somebody who's stepping into your body, they're going to feel that, like, oh, who am I? Oh, like, I'm feeling my arms for the first time, and
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's really freaking me out about it, because there was an element of that to it, and now you're freaking me out.
You never know.
Well, like, do you ever, like, you're talking to somebody that even, like, I don't know, like, it's happened with my mom. Like, I'll be talking to her, looking at her, and then I'm like, it's not like I'm like, who are you? But it's like, I don't know, it's this weird thing, like, oh, you are who you are. I don't know how to explain it, but that made me think of that.
Weird.
I don't know how to, like, really relay what I'm thinking.
Oh my God, I wish I could somehow describe the feeling in words, but I don't know that I can. It was just this extremely overwhelming feeling out of nowhere.
Was it like you wanted to laugh and cry too, all at the same time?
No, not that. It was like, it's like, oh, I'm me. Like, oh, I'm a being. I'm like, I exist. I'm this person.
But not like I'm Billy.
No, like I'm Billy now.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, it's like my consciousness left my body and was like looking at myself as like in the third person almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not physically seeing yourself in the first person, but like metaphorically stepping out.
Yeah. Like your brain is looking at you, but like you're not physically looking at you, but your brain sees it.
Almost in a way like I should be somebody else.
Okay.
Or could be somebody else or was somebody else.
Like
But now I'm this.
disassociating.
But now I'm this. But that's the thing. It's like I never thought like that. Like that wasn't things that was in my brain. And then all of a sudden, like middle hide and seek, it just pops into like I'm sitting there like
Yeah.
like zoned out.
Oh my gosh, it's like the
2
butterfly effect.
Oh, I like that movie.
So do I.
Why do people hate it?
I don't know. I've watched it a million times. That's one I can watch over and over and over again.
It's got that dude in there from My Name is Earl. The emo dude.
My name is Earl.
Yeah, do you remember that TV show? It had
Jason Lee.
Yes.
Yeah, he lives over here by me.
Shit.
This was great. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
I'm gonna remember one that I should have told. I'm gonna damn it, I didn't remember that one. I think I've told you all the major ones. All the major ones I've told you. Yeah.
I mean, we're totally up to like doing this again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Whenever
next
you
time,
want to come back, let us know.
next time I'll have a creepy real life story to talk about. I won't like. Does anybody ever like bring up paranormal stuff in your show? Like ever?
We did a couple episodes where we did like
Paranormal themes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like urban legends.
Ooh, urban legends are good. I like urban legends.
Yeah.
I like all that stuff, like conspiracy theory. I love conspiracy theories and alien stuff and
I'm telling
Illuminati.
Then you'll-
Illuminati.
you'll definitely like Mysterious Universe. Anyway, we talked about so many things tonight.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We appreciate all your time. You
Yes.
gave us a lot of your time, and
Thank you so much.
thank you.
No, it's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna go eat a bowl of cereal. I think now I've earned it.
All
I've
right.
earned it.
You did. You
All
did
right.
earn it. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys have a good night,
You too.
and
too.
yeah, let me know if you ever want to do this again.
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll let you know when
All
we release the episode too.
Sweet. All right. Take
All right.
care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.